A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China.
There are at least 433 cases reported in 32 states.
They're putting a quarter of the population
officially
on
declared, done a declaration of emergency.
2 dozen people have now died in Minnesota from COVID-19.
Many more families are going to lose loved ones.
Hearing that a British man has died of coronavirus.
It is another bad day on the markets.
Increased our assessment of the risk of spread.
Let me stop you there. This is not a panic situation.
So often in the news, we've seen the numbers of cases rise, the number of ventilators at an all-time low, numbers of events canceled, number of schools closed. But that's all we've seen. Numbers. Are we all really just numbers? We're individuals with diverse backgrounds and experiences facing hard times due to one common thing, COVID-19. We decided to make this video to bring humanity to this crisis. We're bringing you the stories, not the stats. We've interviewed people from all around the world to understand how they're dealing with this crisis.
My name is Blaž Šabeder. I come from Slovenia.
My name is Chad Morris. I originally grew up in Orange County, California, but I've actually been living in Fort Worth, Texas.
My name is Ben Ebeling. I have since moved out to Florida.
Hi, I'm Biza Braxton, and I'm currently in Los Angeles, California.
So my name's Kate Majeski. I'm from Houston, Texas.
All right, I'm Cameron Jarvandi. I'm a senior in high school.
My name is Aisha Akhtar. I'm a junior in high school. I live in Chicago, Illinois.
Well, my name is Mariam, but I live in one of the smaller cities in North Carolina. It's called Burlington.
My name is Felicia. I'm from Stockholm in Sweden.
My name is Amara Wayans. I live in California.
My name is Sumit. I am a freshman at USC.
I'm Kirsten Alexis. I'm from Silicon Valley, California.
The restrictions were very harsh at the beginning, so everything started in early March. And then 2 weeks after the first infection, we closed the whole country down, basically. So nothing was going on. Every shops were closed, public transport, schools closed. So I've been home for 2 months now, and we still didn't go back. So I'm still at home, and I will remain at home for some time now.
It's been strange here. The first few weeks were really locked down. The beaches even were closed out here. Being in a hotter climate has allowed the coronavirus cases to stay at a minimum even after opening back up, but there are obviously still some common sense guidelines in play.
Out here in Texas, it's been a little bit different than the rest of the country and the rest of the world. In the fact that, anyone coming from California, they're required to be quarantined here for at least 2 weeks. They actually just lifted that, yesterday or 2 days ago. They just lifted that. It's starting to get better here. So originally, the governor of Texas allowed the individual cities to decide what they wanted to do in their region. I went to a restaurant the other day, wrote a tip for my waiter, and it felt like the weirdest thing ever. I hadn't done it in 3-4 months.
I personally think Turkey did a great job trying to contain the virus, because back when the virus became something serious in the beginning of March for us, our president right away closed down the schools, made a bunch of restrictions. Here in Istanbul, for example, 20-year-olds and under and 65 and older are under lockdown 24/7. And on the weekends, everyone in the country is on lockdown. And I think we did a good job taking precautions. And in fact, Turkey is sending a bunch of medical supplies to the US. So that's kind of ironic.
And a lot of people now, because we're starting to reopen a little bit here, it's kind of like all the social distancing guidelines have just been thrown out the window by people. So I'm actually kind of staying at home myself because I have asthma, so I don't want to put myself at risk either. And on top of that, my parents are both physicians, so they're seeing COVID patients. So I'm also having to stay home because trying to prevent the spread. But there's people who are going to beaches and not wearing masks in grocery stores and just completely not following any social distancing guidelines.
I think a lot of what I value is freedom. And when this started, it was like everything was shut down. You come to really value something that you don't have a lot of. And I think when this happened, a lot of, the mobility and the freedom to just kind of go wherever we wanted was stripped.
Sequoia, Washington, which is about 20 minutes outside of Seattle, and it is like full stay-at-home masks if you go out. Businesses are maybe starting to reopen in about a week, but it's still pretty bad.
Honestly, every situation in your life, you can choose to look at it through a negative lens or a positive lens. Realistically, your life is determined by your mindset. Very important to determine that your mindset is a positive one. I have used this time to very much so enhance different skills about myself. My ability to cook. I can't freaking cook. But when that routine is disturbed, you need to know how to adapt and overcome.
I feel like Sweden actually handled it kind of well. Right now, not much has changed. I still go to school and I can still see friends and do normal things as before.
It's been really difficult, specifically for my neighborhood and like my school, because one of our teachers, his parents both got it and both passed away within a week. And it's just like rocking our community really hard, because it's one of those things that it's like, you don't really know how much it affects someone until it's someone that you know. Not a whole lot of people in my county, in Harris County, have it. It's not a large number. It's definitely not New York. It's definitely not California. It's not Washington, but it's not like we have like 10 cases. So seeing people actually that we know get it and pass away, and just how much it's affecting our community, is something that is so sad, and it needs to be talked about more instead of just being like, oh, another death. No, it's not just another death. It's someone we know. So it's not like it's just like some random report. Like it really just, and obviously it's really hurt me because I've known him for the past 4 years of my life. And like, I knew him I had an emotional and a student and all that sort of relationship. So it's like, now seeing how hard that is, it's just heartbreaking.
After interviewing people from all over the world, we realized that this pandemic has been represented solely by numbers. But each single digit on a global casualties counter is an individual with a unique story that didn't just affect them, but affected their families and communities. So when you put on the news, we encourage you to look at each number as a story. One that might have been 17, 25, 74, or even 90 years in the making.
Release, man. I can't breathe. I've been trying to hear about it. So I can't breathe. Look at my I can't breathe my face. Just get up. What do you want? I can't breathe. Get off of his neck.
Still on him, bro.
Yes, look at that. Back on the street.
Compressions if he needs that. You guys are on another level. Oh my God, bro.
Okay.
Justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police.
It's beautiful, man. You got every color of person out here, almost every nationality.
It's really frustrating, and it's scary, because there could be just one bad cop who just feels intimidated by the color of your skin, and he can not only ruin your day, but he can end your life. That's scary. Knowing that a cop who's supposed to protect you could ultimately end your life, and then you could be a hashtag on social media. That's scary.
And then once I heard they were throwing one in Nashville, I got super excited, and I ran to my mom and dad and said, yo, we gotta go. We walked down literally just a block, and you could see hundreds of people just out there, and like just walking up to it, you were like, whoa, like it's really going on. Like, this is real. Like, cops are out there standing with the shields. People out there with signs, and it was a beautiful thing to see, just the community and the country getting together, fighting for what's going on and trying to change for better. I feel like the riots are a good thing, because we've tried peaceful protesting, we've tried a whole bunch of stuff, and it obviously hasn't worked. You gotta riot in a good way. There's a good and bad way. Right now there's a lot of bad ways going on, So just there's no real reason to riot. But if you have a true reason to why you want to riot, why you want to protest, so you can be seen and get your message out, then I totally stand for that. But just going out there looting, stealing, and just using it as an advantage to get material things that's just something that I don't condone. Only way we're gonna get through this is by bringing the system and the people together and creating the unity. Love, peace, and unity is what I stand by. And that's the only way we're truly going to see change.
Everybody has a different way of joining the movement, whether that's simply educating themselves and their family or listening to the Black community and what they're trying to say. I also think you can be one to protest. You can be one to put together a video and make it go viral. Just whatever your way is of joining the movement, I think it's important to figure out what works for you. Because like I said, not everybody feels like they have such a big voice and not everybody is comfortable using their voice, but it is important to realize that one person can inspire everybody else. One person can inspire 3 people who are going to go out and inspire 3 more. And just like that's how it becomes this huge movement. I don't know, just the idea that I find so beautiful and interesting, how it started with this one man and it turned into an entire movement for the community. And I think that's really powerful.
I am from Chicago. I am from the south side of Chicago, and my dad is a cop. So I have a whole other perspective on this, world we're living in where everybody's mad at the cops, and I'm also Black. So don't feel that all cops are horrible beings, but I do believe that racist people, racist against any particular community, that needs to end and they need to be stopped.
I feel like every Black kid in America, their parents have the talk with them, very young age. You used to talk, you got to have with your kid, especially that, with me. Just don't get, a song by Future is don't get too comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. Like the way that the way the police see us is we're not equal. So we're gonna have to be a little more polite in traffic stops. We're gonna have to be a little more cautious with the police, because in a second, bro, it's raps for us, And wherever I go, I'm gonna make sure I'm respectful and that I'm acting a certain way, because how I act, and somebody who, like, if I meet for the first time, who's, I guess, I don't know, another race or whatever, they're going to judge all Black people on how I act for every interaction. That's just how it is for us.
Before the victory is won, some will be misunderstood and called bad names and dismissed as rabble-rousers and agitators, but we shall overcome.
And Martin Luther King said that 60 years ago, but we can see this manifesting itself today. Our generation is the energy that is sparking this light. We will be the generation to drive out hate. While we understand that we, as non-Black allies, have not experienced the extent of systematic and blatant racism that our Black brothers and sisters face on a daily basis, we are constantly trying to educate ourselves and others, and we stand by them regardless of our political stance, for struggle, for equality, and for justice. Our hearts are heavy, but our eyes and ears are open, and our commitment is unwavering. We won't accept hate, we won't be silent, and we will do more. We must do more. Because starting today and tomorrow and the next day, we are all in this together.